Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel, Bishop's Garage. Today we're going to be doing the oil pan gasket on my 06 Honda Accord. I mentioned it in the first video. We're going to go ahead and proceed doing that today. For this job, what you're going to need, an oil filter, breaker bar, some extensions, swivel extension, some sockets, 3H drive sockets of assortment. I believe the oil pan is going to be a 10mm socket, so you'll need that. Take that off. Alright, you're also going to need the Honda Bond in order to seal up the oil pan. You can get this at any Honda dealership. It's about 14 bucks and some change. Fairly cheap. It comes in a pretty big tube. Use it for multiple different things. Tie temp. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and jack up the vehicle. We'll need a jack stand. A couple of jacks over there. Always make sure you have the emergency brake pulled before jacking it up. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and drain the oil. After we're done doing that, we're going to go ahead and drop the subframe in order to make enough room to get the oil pan out. On top of that, we will have to go ahead and undo the mounting bolts for the engine mounts. So we can lift the engine up and drop the subframe down in order to get enough clearance to drop that pan out and get it out of there so we can redo the seal. See if I was right. Is it 15? Let's try 17. Probably should bring some light down there. Oh, you ain't gonna be able to see what I'm doing. Alright. Alright, so let's go ahead and check out this oil leak. So, let's see. Everything's good there. Right over here. Got some oil residue. Alright, so let's go ahead and drain this oil and go from there. See, was I right? 17? Maybe no. Alright, I think it's a 14. It's a 14, guys. Let's check. Let's check. Let's see. Did I get it right? Hopefully, maybe. Ah, so close. It is the 15. I knew it. I didn't know it then, but I knew it now. Okay, this is 15. Let's go. Time to drain this oil. Get it out of there. And get it ready. So we can drop this pan. While we drop this pan, we'll also check around the transmission and flywheel and stuff like that, since we'll be taking off this bolt. This bolt. Oh, there we go. Zoom you guys out. There we go. Yeah, this whole thing right here. That bolt. There's a bolt up there. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see that. what you gotta reach by hand. Don't slide your pan over. Try to line it up. Trying to line that up. Try to keep your hand up and out of the way. Try to get as little oil as you can on yourself. Hold it in there until you get it almost, until you know it's free. Don't pull it out really fast, and look at that. Very little mess. Going right in the pan. Alright. I'm going to take my plug. I'll clean that off and I'll be right back. Alright everybody, so before we think about dropping the subframe and lifting the engine, we do need to put something under to support it in order to make sure that doesn't fall on us. Now that we're draining the oil, we're going to do this engine mount. There's a bracket that goes over. There's also this bolt. We'll need to get that out. We'll also need to take out this bolt right here and relieve that tension. And there's one back here that also has a bracket over it with a bolt in the center on the back that we'll have to get to and get that out. Before we do that, let me go find a block of wood and we will get the engine supported. Alright, so I happen to have this block of wood. You want to set it on the jack just like so. You go ahead and slide it under. We're going to go ahead and put that oil drain bolt back in really quick. Alright, so I'll take that over there. So we need to position this right under, in between the transmission and the oil pan. Well, it's not that centered. Just go like that. Alright. Alright, so we're going to start at the top of the engine. Okay, so this is how I got it set up. I've got two extensions and then got my swivel on there. 14 millimeters should be the bracket bolts. So I'll go and take those out. Alright guys, this is what I got. I got this bolt out down over here on this bracket. Back over here. See how it moves? Okay, this is what I had to do for this side because of the radiator hose. I got 1, 2, 3 extensions and a swivel neck to break that bolt loose. Definitely likes to fight back. Alright, so we'll go ahead and finish twisting this off by hand. Alright, so we've got this bracket off right there. And we've also got the 2 bolts there. We're going to go ahead and take this out. This bolt should be that one's going to be a 14 millimeter. Should be. Let's see if I'm right. Okay, we're gonna just go ahead and give this a good crank. Go and jack it up, try to find that good spot where there isn't really any upward or downward force. There we go, guys. Just got the bolt. There it is. So I'll throw that in our pan. Alrighty, guys, I'm back. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. We're going to do this passenger side mount. Right here, we're going to go ahead and remove this bolt. Let's go ahead and get that started. This one should be a 14 as well, so we should just need the breaker bar. Alright, so before I remove that bolt, we do have to move the power steering pump out of the way to give us that clearance. So I can put my breaker bar right on there. So it looks like it's actually probably going to be a 17 millimeter. Let's go ahead and get that on. There's my 17. Down. So I'm going to finish taking this bolt out, and I will get back to you guys when I get ready to do the back mount. Alright guys, I'm back, and I've got the bolt out. It's right there. The other one is pretty big, so the back mount should have the same size bolts and nuts and everything like that. So let's go ahead and get that one removed. We're going to go ahead and go with my long 1/4-inch drive. As you can see, my power steering rack is leaking, so I will be replacing that in future video. If you guys are interested in seeing that, once I get the part and I'm able to do it, I will post that video up online for all to see. You guys probably ain't gonna be able to see me do this very well, but we're gonna wing it. So there's also that bracket. Go and get that on there. That's right, I forgot I have an aftermarket bolt. Mine ain't gonna be that same size. Alright, so plan B, I'm going to use this one and hope this one, well, we're just going to say hope it's a 17. Let's give it a shot. Hopefully, maybe, possibly. Right. Drop the socket down there. Don't do that. Yeah, aftermarket bolt. Other than that bolt, the other one should be just the standard What is it? Standard 17 millimeter. Ah, there it is. Alright, so we're gonna pull that bolt off. Okay, there's that. You just gotta wiggle it back, up and back, and then it comes right down and out. Like so. We're gonna keep the front one and the back one separate. Make sure they know where they're at. If you need to, take pictures, what you're taking off. Alright, so now there's gonna be a bolt right back here. And that should be a 14 millimeter. I just wanted you guys to see this, see how much trouble I'm having. As you can tell, I needed to get a step stool. This is probably the easiest bolt to get out, to be honest. Look how easy that came out. It's just getting to it that's the hardest. Alright, so now that we got that all done, we need to get under there and break these bolts loose for the subframe. Now that we got the bolts out, we're going to go ahead and lower this. Lower that. We're going to scoot it over. Remember, we're taking down the oil pan and everything, so we want to make sure we can get this as center as possible. If you need to move your piece of wood to a different area, go ahead and do that. I'm going to go and place it under the transmission. Go ahead and jack that up a little bit. You don't want to jack it up, you just want to put a little bit of pressure on there, just until it touches. Not a whole lot. Don't want to crack anything with the transmission or the oil pan or anything like that. Alright, I'll finish getting this pulled out and I'll show you the rest. I don't know how you guys can see that. See it right there. Almost like center behind the tire, there's a bolt. Right up here. And we gotta remove that bolt. And we gotta remove those two back there. And then we can drop this whole thing down. Alright, so after coming to a realization, one, probably easier if I took off the tire first before I jacked it up. And two, when under a car in a small space, you probably grab a smaller ratchet. It's gonna make your life a lot easier in the long run. So yeah, break them loose, maybe a breaker bar. Other than that, something smaller should work just fine like that. Alright. So I'm still fighting with this one bolt. Right up there. So I'll finish getting that bolt loosened and drop down a little bit so I can pull the subframe down. Alright. I got that bolt behind the tire out. We're gonna go and get under here. We need to take out that bolt and that bolt. We don't need to take them all the way out, but we need to at least loosen them. We want to keep at least some of the threads still screwed in, just in case something happens, the jack moves, whatever could happen. There's a second barrier of protection by keeping those bolts a little bit screwed in there. Yeah, don't screw them all the way. Keep the bolts in there. Just loosen them. Give you enough clearance to do something with the frame. So I'll get those loosened and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so this is what I've got so far. I just loosened these just enough, just to give us that extra clearance. So now we have to take out the oil filter. We're going to be changing the oil filter as well today. Change the oil filter. We're going to probably let it sit overnight before we take out the oil pan. So I'll be back with you guys in the morning and we will go through and finish taking off the oil pan. Alright, so what we got done today so far is we got all the bolts taken out, the engine unmounted from the subframe. We unbolted the passenger side on the subframe. We dropped that. That's going to be it for right now, but I will be back tomorrow. We're going to finish this up, get the oil pan on, get the new gasket stuff on, put everything back together, and see if we have any leaks. Alright, so we've got my tire off. I also took out the oil filter right back there. So now what we need to do is we need to get under. We need to take out a few bolts in order to access all the bolts around the oil pan. So we're going to need to take out that bolt, that bolt, that bolt, and that bolt. So we need to take this whole cover off right there, take that off. And then we've got our bolts up in there that we need to take out all the way around the pan. So I'm going to get this off and I will show you what it looks like afterwards. Alright, so I got this out. As you can tell, there's quite a bit of oil residue up in there. Got all the bolts right there. And this is what it looks like underneath. We got the flywheel open. You see all that. You can get access to those bolts. All that fun stuff. So we'll get that out. This one I'm probably going to end up using an electric drill to just speed up the process a little bit. But once I get that all ready to get the drill, I'll have you guys watch me how to do this. Alright, so you may have to take off this plastic shield from up here. Right up in there, you take out that shield. Yeah, you can tell. It's got a little bit of oil right around that gasket. So we definitely have to take that down. Place all that. That's all the Honda Bond. Got my Ryobi drill. Never had a problem with this thing. My 10mm socket. And we are going to go ahead and start taking off this oil pan. As you can see, there is bolts all the way around it, so we need to get all those out. Now we're on this side. I got all the other bolts out. You did have to use a ratchet of some sort in order to break them all loose. And then after that, I could just zip them out with my drill. Made it way easier. Yeah, this drill just wasn't quite strong enough to take them out. And these ones are going to be a little bit more tricky to get to. You might have to feel for them. Alright guys, I don't know what happened, but my camera shut off. But I had to get just a regular old deep socket. So I left 2 bolts in. I'm going to finish taking those out. And then I'll show you guys how to go about prying this thing down. Alright, so with these two, there's two directly across from each other that are just nuts. When you put it back on, you'll want to start with those first, and then hand tighten them, move them from the center out, and then after that, then you can go back and torque them all down from the center out again. Give them a little bit past the torque. I'll show you guys when I get it up there and get ready to bolt it on. So now we are going to need to take down the oil pan, and I will get a pry bar and show you how we're going to go about doing that. Alrighty, so I got a pry bar. It's got a fairly nice sharp edge so we can get in there and break that gasket loose. And as you can see, stayed up there, so don't worry about falling on your head or anything like that. So we want to grab our pry bar and go right up in there and get in there. You don't want to go all the way in because you don't know what kind of sensors. You don't want to damage the fuel pump or the oil pump or anything like that. So be careful. I'm going to do this and I'll show you how to drop it down out of there. Alright, so I've got it all broke loose up here. And sorry, my camera had died, so I'm trying to work with it here. So yeah, I got it all broke loose. It's all hanging. Alright, so yeah, my camera died. Had to switch over to my phone. May not be that great quality. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so this bolt that we had to take out yesterday. Alright, I'm trying to show you guys. That one up over there. So now we need to take our pry bar. Right up under here. Go ahead and just try to slide this out. So first off, you drop this end down. No, I'm gonna flash. Alright, you drop this end down. Like that. And now, we're actually gonna need to take out that bolt right there. We're gonna need to drop that down because of this bracket. Forgot to do that yesterday. That bracket there. So we got that bolt out, loosened, and we need to get that one loosened. And then we should be good to go. Alright, so y'all remember that bolt there? We actually need to take that all the way out. Take it all the way out, and that should give us the clearance to remove that bolt. So you drop that. We're gonna get right up in there. Try to get a good angle on it. Oh. And just like that. Now watch the oil pan. That's what we want. Okay. So, I'm trying to set you guys up where you guys can see. Alright, so you guys, I probably won't be able to get you guys to see. So, I'm going to pry this down right here, just like so. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to lower the pen down. So it's basically going to go down and then come out once I pry that down. So, so I'll do that and then I will get back to you guys when I get it off. So I had to go down and get a new oil pan. It's really hard to get the old silicone off. So, okay, so we're going to go and take this. So I've got the gasket on. So you can see I just kind of went around and tried to get as even of a layer as I could. Keep it out of the gas or the oil pan. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in and start bolting it up. Alright, so I got the oil pan in, sealing on. Could not show you guys the process of getting in. Same process of getting out. You have to pry on the subframe, get down, and you may have to jack up the engine a little bit more so you get enough clearance to slide down and out. Once you get it in there, you have to be underneath. Probably best if you're under the passenger side. Lift up that bottom end in and pry on the subframe to bring it down. It should pop in there and hold it. So once you get to that point, then you can line it up, put the bolt, and start putting the bolts in. Once you get up there, there's two nuts, only two nuts on it. Put those on first, and then go around working your way out with hand tightening them, and then go back around working your way out. Put those two bolts, nuts, and torque them down. It's only supposed to be about 7 to 8 foot-pounds, but torque them down snug. A little bit past hand tight, be fine. Then after that, you can start putting everything back together, putting the subframe back up, and doing the mounting bolts, the engine mounts, and now I'll bolt it up. So that's it for right now. I'm going to go ahead and get this back together. And another thing, once you use the Honda Bond, you do have to let it sit. I would say probably at least 12 hours before adding oil. You can make at least 16, if not more. Just so that it's plenty of time to cure. When you put oil in, it's not going to just eat it up. You'll have to do it all over again. Two cross leads. So yeah, I'm going to get this put together and I'll check back in probably tomorrow once I fill it up. Alright, so we've got the oil pan back up there. It's looking pretty good. Hopefully this fixes our leak. We got everything else put back together. Got the subframe back up, engine mounts, all that stuff. Now you just need to get the tire back on, lower the vehicle, and I'll probably warm it up in the garage a little bit to make sure that that gasket hardens, because it's, well, currently snowing outside, so definitely not the best temperature to be trying to have this cure at, so I'm going to warm up the garage for it. Give it a little bit better cure time. I'm going to get the tire back on, lower the vehicle, and I'll get back to you once I drop oil in it. Alright, so I got my car done. It's out of the shop. Yeah, it's running good. Got the oil pressure back up. Got it filled with oil. All that good stuff. Yeah, so that's it for now. If you found this content helpful or insightful in any way, help me out and leave us like. And if you're feeling generous, subscribe. And yeah, and if you want to, leave a comment. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching.